Oh, there you are. You've just caught me in the middle of servicing the Duchess. Just about to do the fuel filter. Now these have been known to leak. They can be a bit tricky to get the pipes out of and the connections off electrically. But once we've got it out, we can then take it to the bench to work on. Right, so we'll take the housing over to the bench where we can work on it safely. It's a dirty job. Diesel isn't good for your skin, so wear some rubber gloves. First thing we'll do is drain the old fuel out. You need to just make sure you get as much of it out as you can. So then once it's drained, we'll pop it into the special tool in the vise. This tool is what stops the filter from leaking once it's been serviced. Cleanliness is of the utmost importance with diesel systems. The tiniest speck of dirt gets into it can damage the pump and the injectors. So we start off by drying and wiping away all of the dirt off the unit. So this is the other part of the tool. This enables us to undo and retighten the locking ring safely without distorting the body, which is what causes them to leak. So we just loosen it, unscrew that off, place it carefully on a clean bench. And before we lift this out, we'll wipe off any dirt, oil, grease, anything that might be in there that could contaminate the system. So once we've got that nice and clean, we can now extract the filter, just drain off a bit of fuel out of it. And then we can, once that's finished draining, we can then remove the filter itself from the filter head. That just pulls off, pop that into a bucket, place that on the clean bench. Rubber seal, that's going to be replaced, so we'll get rid of that one. And once again, we've got residual fuel in there that we don't need, so we'll just get rid of that. It doesn't really matter about leaving a bit of fuel in there, but I prefer to empty it out because there could be some water still in the bottom of that. So that's all good. We can give that a wipe off. I'll get some clean paper and we'll give it another rub down. Just clean the threads and the mating surfaces. Be careful not to get any debris inside there. Once again, cleanliness is of the utmost importance. As I said, the components of the diesel injection system are made to very close tolerances. The tiniest speck of dirt gets in there, it could do all sorts of damage and cost a lot of money to put right. So we'll clean all the mating surfaces down with a clean piece of paper towel, being sure not to leave any bits of debris or bits of towel even in there. Wouldn't do it any good. So that's all nice and clean. And clean the locking ring as well. Just give that a wipe out. Just because if there's any debris in there, it can affect how tight this goes. If it's not tight enough, it will leak. If it's distorted, it will leak. This is the new filter. And this comes in a plastic bag. We'll leave it in the plastic bag until we're absolutely ready for it. Because again, we don't want any debris or bits of foreign bodies, foreign matter to get in there and do any damage. So just give the new seal a wipe round, make sure that's nice and clean. And what I do is I just give that mating surface a wipe with a little bit of Vaseline. Just helps to hold the seal in place. Doesn't need a lot, just a tiny little wipe, make sure it doesn't get inside the container. And then we can fit the seal. And again, a little wipe of Vaseline around the top surface of the seal. Like so. And now we can put the new filter onto the filter head. When you do this, just tear open the top of the plastic bag. Don't touch the filter body with your hands, even gloved hands, because of contamination. So that simply pushes on until it clicks in, and now we can extract the plastic bag off it, and that goes back into the filter body. The filter head will only fit on the body in one position. Final bit, the locking ring, a little wipe of Vaseline around the threads. Again, doesn't need a lot, just helps it to go on nicely. screw that down by hand until it touches. And now the important part is to use the tool again, excuse me, and a torque wrench set to 30 Newton meters. Any tighter, it'll distort the body. Not tight enough, it will leak. We just gently pull that down until the torque wrench clicks, and that's ready to go back on the vehicle. So we bring that round. First thing, it just mounts simply onto this bracket on the bulkhead. That just clips in, like so. Then the electrical connections, there's one on the top, and there's another one down here which is quite difficult to get at, but with a little bit of perseverance you can get at it. Not too bad. The whole job is made much easier by removing the near side headlight, as I've done here. That's it, that clicks on. And then the fuel pipes, one on there, one on the top. Make sure they're clicked in fully. Just give it a final wipe off. Get any last traces of fuel off the outside of it. And now we can bleed the system. These are self-bleeding filters. Bleeding just means getting the air out of it. We don't want air getting into the injection system. So we need to bleed the air out of it, and we do that simply by turning the ignition on. The electric pump in the fuel tank will lift fuel and push it up into the filter. The air will be expelled back into the tank. You may even hear it bubbling in the tank. After about 10 seconds, we can turn the ignition off. We'll let it stand for 10 seconds, and then we'll do it again. And we'll do that 3 or 4 times, just to make sure we've got rid of all the air out of the system. So once we've finally bled all the air out, we can then start the engine and have a look at the fuel filter to make sure there's no leaks. And that's it, nice and dry, no signs of any leaks, all good to go.